Let's go, Gamera! 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 Gamera is really neat. Gamera is filled with meat. We've been eating Gamera. Shell, teeth, eyes, flames, claws, breath, scales, fun.
いったぞついたぞゴーゴーゴー大変ゲートで大当たり強いぞカメラ強いぞカメラ強いぞカメラ
Tale of the Tape, Gyaos. Gyaos is one of the most iconic kaiju from the Gamera film series, which is produced by Dauer Film, now part of Kadokawa Pictures, first introduced in the 1967 film Gamera vs. Gyaos. Gyaos has appeared in various forms throughout the franchise, often serving as one of Gamera's most persistent, let's say, adversaries. Here are some key aspects of Gyaos. Number 1. Appearance. Gyaos is typically depicted as a giant bat-like creature with a triangular head, large wings, and sharp claws. Its most distinctive feature is its ability to emit a supersonic beam from its mouth, capable of slicing through virtually anything, like a hot knife through squishy butter. Number 2. Powers and abilities. Supersonic scalpel. Gyaos can fire a destructive, high-frequency beam from its mouth, which is its primary weapon. Now, flight. With its powerful wings, Gyaos is capable of flying at high speeds. Regeneration. In some iterations, Gyaos has regenerative abilities, allowing it to recover from injuries quickly. Adaptability. Various versions of Gyaos have shown the ability to adapt to different environments and situations, making it a versatile and dangerous opponent. Number 3. Role in the Gamera series. Gyaos is often portrayed as a major threat to humanity and a formidable enemy for Gamera. Its introduction in Gamera vs. Gyaos set the stage for many future confrontations. The rivalry between Gamera and Gyaos is a central theme in several films, highlighting Gamera's role as a protector against monstrous threats. Number 4. Evolution in the franchise. Over the years, Gyaos has undergone several redesigns and updates. Notable appearances include Hiesel era 1990s. Gyaos was reimagined for the Hiesel Gamera trilogy, starting with Gamera Guardian of the Universe in 1995. In these films, Gyaos was presented as a bioengineered weapon from ancient times, adding depth to its backstory. Millennium Era. Gyaos appeared again in the 2006 film Gamera the Brave, continuing to be a central figure in the Gamera mythos. Number 5. Cultural impact. Gyaos has become a beloved and recognizable figure in the kaiju culture. Its design and abilities have inspired numerous other monsters in various media, cementing its place in the pantheon of great movie monsters. Overall, Gyaos is a classic example of the creativity and excitement that define the kaiju genre, providing thrilling battles and an enduring nemesis for Gamera. Dun 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 dun. A little excitement there for you. This segment of Kaiju Carousel, featuring the monster Gyaos, was narrated by Maynard Smith, playing the part of Lord Horace Highborn of Buckingham.
A series of mysterious volcanic eruptions in Japan impact shipping and aircraft flights. An eruption on Mount Fuji attracts the giant turtle Kaiju Gamera, whose arrival is witnessed by a boy named Ichi. A research team of geologists is sent to investigate the phenomenon in Shizuoka Prefecture. I don't pronounce Japanese names very good, I'm sorry, but are killed by a supersonic ray emitted from a cave, with which slices their helicopter in two. Ichi finds Okabe in the woods and leads him to a cave where Gamera might be. Okabe abandons Ichi as the cave collapses and is devoured by a winged creature. Gamera emerges and saves Ichi from the winged beast, but is wounded in the process by its supersonic ray. While interviewed by Dr. Aoki and authorities, Ichi names the winged monster Gyaos. Dr. Aoki deduces it was awakened by the volcanic eruptions that can produce a supersonic ray due to a forked tongue and cannot turn its head due to having two spines. A daytime airstrike fails to neutralize Gyaos due to its ray. Meanwhile, Gamma recovers from its wounds beneath the sea. During a meeting, the villagers become divided on whether to sell their land or not. Shiro's crew, save two, quit because of Gyaos, despite Ichi's claims that Gyaos is nocturnal. Gyaos ignores military flares and attacks Nagoya. A daytime airstrike fails to neutralize Gyaos due to its ray. Meanwhile, Gamera recovers from its wounds beneath the sea. During a meeting, the villagers become divided on whether to sell their land or not. Shiro's crews, save two, quit because of Gyaos, despite Ichi's claims that Gyaos is nocturnal. Gyaos ignores military flares and attacks Nagoya. Gamera appears and battles Gyaos once more, biting off its toes in the process. Dr. Aoki discovers that exposure to ultraviolet light, like the sun, causes the toes to shrink. A plan is formed to disorient Gyaos with a rotating platform for long enough for the sun to rise and kill it, using artificial blood as bait. Gyaos is lured out, but the plan fails when the power station supplying electricity to the platform overheats and explodes. After learning that the expressway would be rerouted due to Gyaos, the villagers blamed the headmaster, who ordered them to hold out. The headmaster regales a plan to Shiro, inspired by Ichi, to start a forced fire to kill Gyaos. Gyaos depletes the fire with a yellow vapor. However, the fire attracts Gamera and engages Gyaos in a final showdown. Gamera kills Gyaos by dragging it into Mount Fuji's crater as the authorities celebrate. Shiro affirms to the villagers that work on the expressway will resume. Ichi bids farewell to Gamera as it flies away.
Okay, folks, welcome to Kaiju Carousel, and I've got a surprise. Normally we have Professor Veritas when we do the Gamera films, but this time I'm joined by the boss himself. That's right. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello.
Okay, so we're looking at the third Gamera film, Gamera vs. Gyaos. Gyaos is, after all, Gamera's archenemy. He'll show up twice in the Showa era, and then he'll show up literally in every single Gamera iteration afterwards.
Oh, wow.
Is this your first time seeing it?
Yeah.
Gyaos has a pretty good body count in here.
Oh, yeah.
He seems to make hors d'oeuvres out of everybody he comes across, just about, except for Itchy, which was kind of a shame.
I think out of people he ate, and it was like 10 people. He got a few of them in like one big gulp.
Then they would always show him chewing.
They didn't actually show them eating him. They were just showing the chewing, yeah.
They'd show him go into his mouth, and then you'd see him chew. Yet we saw monster blood all over this.
Oh, yeah. That was... There was a lot of it coming out. Especially, man, Gamera took a beating.
He got shot in the head. He almost lost his arm. He got his tail cut off. Almost cut off. I mean, he was bleeding all over the place, man.
Yeah.
This Gyaos lost 2 toes and lost a piece of his wing before he was dumped into the volcano.
It's all at war with them.
What do you think of the Gyaos monster, first off?
It's an interesting design, I'll say that. His inability to turn his head made it look a little weird. What can you really expect? That's a person inside that suit. So turning that big old head would be terrible. His design was... He's somewhat like a bat, it looked like, with his wings and then his the ear things. I'm not sure what those are. And the canals.
Yeah, those canals that would light up whenever he used his powers. And his eyes would light up. I loved that effect. The thing about Gyaos with the not turning his head is because he had 2 spines and 2 throats. Now that would create a tuning fork effect. That gave him that laser beam that he used to cut helicopters in half and planes in half and almost Gamera in half. He also had the wind attack that Rodan has, and he had the gas, like a fire extinguisher poison gas that would come out of his front. That was another reason why they did the not being able to turn his head, is so Gamera could attack him from behind and not get fire extinguished.
Yeah. I think it's good that he had the ability to continuously shoot those beams too, because his accuracy was not good at all. He was just spamming them.
Yeah, he was just firing all over the place. A couple of things about Gyaos here is that he was definitely the whole vampire bat thing. What did you think of the spinning him around while he drinks blood as a way to incapacitate him until the sun fries him?
That was a silly idea. It was, I don't know, why would that like be not the first thing, because they had a couple other plans, but that was like their last plan, because after that he was like, oh, all hope is done for. Like that's what you had. That was your biggest plan, like your plan Z right there.
That was the big shot. That was the plan Z. The next was plan Itchy, because Grandpa ends up telling him, hey, why don't we set the whole forest on fire and just hope Gamera comes to see it.
It worked. I mean, there you go. Gamera came out. He doesn't like his fires. Smokey the bear.
Exactly. He wanted to come put it out. He wanted to eat it. You know, that's Gamera's thing with fire. He doesn't put it out. Well, he puts it out, but he eats it. That's how he takes care of it. So what did you think of the battles between Gyaos and Gamera in this film? There were 3 battles.
Yeah, so they had 3 rounds there. I thought the first one was the one in the water, right? Or no?
Yeah, well, that was the one in the cave where he saves Itchy.
That one was, so I like that one because then you had Gamera sitting there like trying to get his arm back and he's just struggling the whole entire time. Having him take that loss there was like, all right, we need you to come back. For the second round, you got to give that to Gamera. He absolutely whipped him there.
And he ripped his toes off.
Yeah, he got his toes. Man, imagine eating those toes. Those are huge too. They were like, how big are they again? Or how big was the monster?
The monster was 210 feet tall, 25 tons.
Oh, some massive toes.
Yeah, those were huge toes. Yeah, that was a great fight. The final fight, of course, where Gamera defeats him, you pointed out while we were watching the movie that pulls the hawk trick on him.
Oh, yeah.
When he shoots Gamera enough times that Gamera hides in his shell because his shell was able to get away from the lasers. Then he would pick him up in the shell and drop him like he's cracking a turtle on rocks.
Yeah, that was probably his best bet, I'm not gonna lie. If you're gonna take out Gamera, the giant turtle, how else to take a turtle out than to get rid of their shell?
Right. So I thought that the Gyaos matched up really well with Gamera in this film.
Gamera is really neat. Gamera is filled with meat. We've been eating Gamera.